Oh yeah, guys, you're back. We're here. You got the best podcast in the 815. This is Beyond the Cube. I am Bob, and with me, as you guys know, always is my homie, my man, Vince. Vincent, what's going on, dude? How's it going?
Oh, dude, just going great, man. Living life, being above ground. So that's all I can ask for at the moment, I guess.
There you go. That's true. That's true,
No,
man.
sorry. I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, yeah. What you got going on, man? Like, I know I got
Man,
a lot of stuff, so we'll definitely.
this may be a very Vince Vince, you may lead this podcast episode. Funny story. I literally kind of just woke up about like 10 minutes ago and I'm still trying to get it together. It is Saturday, March 2nd, 2019. We've kind of had this pattern of like how we've been recording these shows and stuff, and it just so happens that the episode that we released at the beginning of the week is done, obviously a few days beforehand. And so just trying to keep in schedule with the way how things have been going. Yeah, dude, I've kind of had a sort of a long week. um, just being sick, working on stuff, trying to wrap up certain projects. And then last night, Vince, we had a little work get together for
Mhm.
an awesome colleague and an amazing friend. It was her last day of where we were working at, and so we stepped out for a little bit, and ended up, did a little appearance and hung out for a while with some other coworkers and stuff. And man, it's always, to me, it's always really cool to well, number one, also let me just say, starting off, Jackie, we're going to miss you. It's gonna totally suck. And it's funny because I don't know, Vince. Do you feel like it's appropriate for us to discuss like how Jackie listens to the podcast? Because she, from my understanding, it sounds like it's still like a continuing thing. Like that's how it started. So that's how it's gonna be. I believe is the way how I sort of interpreted um,
It's
what
definitely a
exactly Jackie
unique
was saying.
way.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure,
it's
for sure.
it's a very unique way. I mean, I know, like from the people I've talked to about the podcast, really, a lot of them do have their routines of when they do listen or how they listen. Like I know some people say that they do listen on the drive into work, which with the way that the area is mapped out, I mean, really drives can be like 30 to 45 minutes, but it's
Hmm.
a 30 to 45 minutes of kind of just fields instead of like what I was used to with the suburbs where it's like traffic for like anywhere from like 20 minutes to an hour and a half. So no, so it's definitely different. And I don't know, I mean, like I said, it's her own routine. So
So yeah, it's really cool to hear how people when they listen, how they listen. And yeah, so our buddy Jackie tends to listen to the podcast when she's taking a bath. So I believe it was kind of brought up that yeah, she's taking a bath and she's listening to us talk. And people be like, man, who's in the bathroom with you? Like,
yeah, I know.
so that's kind of funny. So yeah, Jackie, it's I know me personally that it's not like I worked with you every single day, but um, if you are listening, I'm glad you had a really good turnout at the party
Hmm.
last night. I really wish I could have stuck around for the whole entire night. I was, I had every intention of probably being in bed at like 7 o'clock last night, honestly. Like, and but there was no way that I wasn't not gonna go. So yeah, so Jackie, like I said, we're gonna miss you. But at the same time, we're still gonna talk. So it just and it's not like we've seen each other every single day at work, but still, like it's just I feel like there'll definitely be a big void that we'll feel with you not being there, and we hope things go well with your future endeavors.
True that, and I'm actually kind of excited to hear how how the what was it? Her theme song queued up 5 times in a row after we left. How that went? If that was the, did you end up doing that too or no?
Yeah, so I know that
Oh my
I had it
god!
scheduled at least 3 times in a row. So yeah, that's you Touch Tunes is such a great product. Um, it's funny because Josiah, our buddy that does the intro and the outro of Settling Houses, plugging a lot of people right from the jump today. This is fantastic. But yeah, he turned me on to this video of this comedian from Chicago, and basically the skit basically was the guy talking about like him playing the classic Tom Jones song "What's New Pussycat," and this guy apparently like played it like 3 times in a row, and it sounds like it could be enjoyable, but really what you don't realize is that like that song is like 7.5 minutes long apparently, and after the first couple of plays, the people in this diner that he was at, like they were just losing it. So it was really messed up last night, man. Like we it's not
I
very
know we
often
had
that I
that a
go
few
out.
times last night too.
Yeah,
Like there was,
well, and,
what song was that? I can't even.
oh
Oh
gosh,
man.
it was Neil Diamond. It was Sweet
Yeah,
Caroline.
yeah.
That's
Yep, that
so
was
that
it.
that was some bogus stuff, man. So yeah, so we get there, kind of. Well, me and Nathan got there right after we got off on Friday. Vince, you had a family obligation to go and knock out real quick, and you definitely came in not too much later after, honestly.
I came in straight to was it going down to the honky tonk? So I walked in. I was like, I know who picked this song. There's no question.
So, and that was the other thing too. So, it was kind of fun to sort of unveil that my favorite day of of 20, what was it, 2017 or 2018
Yeah,
was, yeah, I can't
2018.
remember
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, my favorite day of 2017 was October 19th, 2018, I believe. Anyways, that day forever goes down as the day that country music was played on a Friday afternoon at 2:30. It was really cool to kind of reveal that to some people and stuff, and we may have
Yep.
released another tidbit of information that I don't want to share just yet, because I still feel like that's still like an ongoing thing. So, um, but I think that piece of information was released too. Um, Vince, I don't know if you were there for that or not. We might have to discuss about that as soon as we get done recording. But yeah, man. So the touch tunes, it's a great thing, and we get there, and the first thing I look at Nathan, I told him, I was like, dude, like, I'm gonna have a couple drinks, and when I start drinking, I'm not gonna be able to sit here and listen to Cher. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Yep.
I know Jackie isn't really gonna want to listen to Rod Stewart. So, when are we gonna start playing "Baby Got Back"? Is what it's coming down to. I'm really feeling some Kanye. I really want to listen to some Drake. These guys are not going to be happy when I start programming the music. So let's get some reactions. Let's just go ahead and do this for shock value. And so I was able to sneak in. Baby Got Back as soon as Jackie got there.
Yep.
And then it wasn't too much later that like the bartender went and pretty much disabled like the ability to play songs. I was getting so frustrated, dude. So like seriously, I played like because like with touch tunes you have the capability of like if you pay like double or pay a little bit extra, that you can bump whoever song is playing or queued up next, and you can take yours and put it like to be queued next, basically. And
Yep.
yeah, so I went ahead and picked up some credits, and dude, I was spending left and right, like I could not figure out why my music wasn't playing, and then after about like 5 minutes of giving up and thinking, hey, well, let me just go ahead and try it again. I looked at the phone, and I see that all my purchases basically have been refunded, and the
Yep.
business owner was like, "Nope, we're not doing this now." And I was like, "Wow, that's it's not very
Yep. And
fun,
then
but okay,
I know we looked at it a little later too, and it said that it was disabled, or it's
yeah,
like it's not active. And it's like, wow. So I know I had put some credits in there too. And I was like, maybe they disabled your account. I was like, let me see if I can fast track my song. And I think I tried to fast track a Kanye song also, and that got refunded. So
Yeah.
hey, but they're anywhere
They
credits, so we're okay.
right. That's true. That's true. And it not even gonna lie, like Elvis every now and then wasn't bad. Everybody was seeing the Sweet Caroline as well too. So the little sprinkle there, but it was like you said, you heard going down to the honky tonk. I had to sneak some of them in. So
Yep.
oh man, but it was a really good time. I had a really, like I said, I had a great time last night. And
Oh yeah.
I like I said, hence me being asleep before 8 o'clock tonight. So, so bear
Well, I
with me
know.
on this episode.
Well, I know you had tried to do that for like the last like 3 nights or so, also,
Yeah.
and it's like something was just not working your way like every night. So
Yep.
tonight when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's not a surprise. I also like passed out for a little while there too. So
Yep.
like I don't know what it is, but it's like having like basically having like my son like sit in my lap and then like try and get him to sleep. It's like that's almost like instant sleep for me. So I don't know. I just get too comfortable and then it's like nope, done.
Same. I sometimes I feel like I could probably sleep standing up, honestly. Like even if if there was like a slight lean or where like maybe I was propped up a little bit. Oh, dude, for
Mm.
sure. Yeah, I'm done. I'm for sure done. Um yeah, I get I know that my wife she gets very frustrated with me because there will be shows and stuff that she may want to watch and everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's great, yeah, that's cool. Let's totally watch that. I'm down. Sounds great. And then, given the right circumstance of maybe kind of sitting still for maybe 5 minutes, like there's a good chance that I might fall asleep. It could happen. Could happen.
Nope, I understand how that is. Like yeah, when we do movie nights too, it's like I kind of unless I'm like truly invested in it, it's like
Mm.
I know that I'm like out. Like I know the last one I really fell asleep to was when the brother-in-law and his girlfriend came over and they wanted to watch was it Sausage Party? I think it was. And oh my god, I watched that for like 10 minutes, then I was like in and out. And I think like three of the four of us were like, sleeping like pretty hardcore by the end of the movie. So
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know. Might have just been the day or whatnot, but I don't know. I know I wasn't invested in the movie. I was like, this is okay, and then yeah, I was just gone. That was it for me.
Yeah, I remember when Sausage Party first came out, and I was like, okay, so it's like these group of guys that kind of do movies, but they're going to be doing an animated movie. Like, I just was like, that just sounds really kind of lame. Honestly, I was just like,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not too sure how this is going to go, and honestly, I don't even think I've actually really seen it all the way through. I feel like I've watched it about 5 to 8 times, but I don't think I've ever completed it any one of those times.
Man, that's like 4 to 7 more times than I have. Like that was the only time like I even attempted it, and like after that, I was like, I guess this is not a viewing experience that I need to have. So,
There you go.
so that's a big pass on that one. But I know like there's certain movies where it's like I just when you watch them, it's like, can I just have that like hour and a half to 2 hours back of my life, like for real? Like
Ugh.
there's sometimes like that. But I know you had a little announcement of what was it? A movie from both of our histories that is kind of coming back. It sounded like.
Oh, dude, yes, yes. This couldn't wait until our next podcast when we do totally true stories. But I want to report that I seen on Facebook, so you definitely know that it's got to be true.
Yep,
Since it was
totally
on
true.
Facebook, yeah, for sure. That so yeah, so the original cast from The Sandlot. It sounds like there's going to be like a small, like a short series or something, and basically it's going to be it's the exact same cast, man. So like Benny the Jet Rodriguez and Nunez and and Bertram, all the guys,
Hmm.
like they're all going to be back, and it's like I said, the original cast members and stuff, and basically it's going to be them as parents in the '80s, and their kids are going to be playing in the Sandlot, basically. So it's one of the things that they talk about. Like if you're a fan of the Sandlot, you definitely know what I'm talking about. So at the very end of the movie, it's going over and it's giving you what happens to each player pretty much. And so
Mm.
like like Nunez, the pitcher, they say yeah he made it to like AAA, but he never was able to really crack the big leagues. And you know the two twin brothers were like these like contractors or whatever that developed mini malls.
Oh
And
yeah,
the catcher ended up being the professional wrestler, as
that,
you know him as
that
the
was the
Great
one that.
Gambino.
Yeah, that was the one I remember for sure.
Right.
I remember like the Jet, and I remember yeah, what was it? Yeah, the Great Hambino or something like that.
Yep.
I
Yep.
was
Yep.
like,
Well,
oh
so one of the guys, if you remember though, Bertram. They say that Bertram got really lost in the '60s, and nobody really heard from him.
man.
So they actually addressed it, and because you don't ever really truly know what that means. Like I sort of was reading into it. They're like, did Bertram go in the Vietnam War and get did he pay the ultimate sacrifice?
Hmm.
Did he was he really into like the drug scene and OD'd or something? Like there was no definition of what happened, but apparently so he's still going to be in it. So be really
Nice.
interested to see how his story kind of plays out. So I think I'm going to be really interested in that. And the other thing that's really funny about this too is that I don't know. Have you seen any of the pictures of the cast like recently, like what they look like now?
I don't think I have. No.
So I want to say that last year in the summer, I believe it was like the 20th anniversary of Sandlot. And I remember seeing a story about it on the Today Show. So as a part of my morning routine, I kind of have like Savannah Guthrie and Hoda Kotb playing in the background while I'm getting ready for work and stuff. But I distinctly remember there being like a story about it on the Today Show, Good Morning America, about it's 20th anniversary, and like so they had the cast back together on the same Sandlot where they filmed it, and like everybody pretty much looks the same except for dude. Like Google a picture of I can't remember what his name is in the movie, but so
So I'm
was like
actually
the
going through it
little
now.
yeah yeah.
He is jacked, man.
That's how I was
He
saying.
he
Dude,
is ripped. Wow.
he was like the little guy. And no, dude, he's not the little guy. He's not the little second baseman anymore, dude. That dude is legit full blown. Like, yeah,
No, this is pretty
it's
cool, actually, man. Like going through it, and
so I'm really excited about that. I just absolutely love the Sandlot. It's like it's one of the Sandlot really truly reminds me of my childhood. Really, like being a kid and so we didn't have a whole group of guys, but every summer we played baseball in the street, and uh it was me and three cousins. Even though we weren't really cousins, we were like second, third cousins or whatever. Um,
yeah.
every summer, I mean, we literally would probably start playing like at like 10 o'clock, and we probably wouldn't stop until it was like close to like dinner time, pretty much. Um, we'd switch, we'd rotate out, because it was literally 2-on-2 baseball, and we basically kind of like home plate was like sort of like in the center of the block, and we played with like a wiffle ball bat, but we took the bat and we use duct tape on it, so it had some weight to it. And instead of using a wiffle ball, we used a tennis ball. So if you hit it at the right
Oh
angle,
man.
man, you're launching that sucker. And
Yep.
so if you hit it in like the intersection where we lived off of like it wasn't a really busy street. It was one of the major streets, honestly, but like we were a block away from that, and there wasn't really a whole lot of through traffic necessarily, really where I grew up at and where we played, because literally it was right in the middle of the street, and so if you hit it on a fly and it went over like the intersecting street, it was a home run. But as an outfielder, like you basically could like play in this like neighbor's yard, and so all of us were right-handers, and also to switch it up, like we also played games where like you had to bat left-handed also too, which was a lot of fun also. And then of course like we had like the games where like each one of us would be like a different baseball player, and you had to have like their batting stances and stuff too, which was always fun. So yeah, it was a like the Sandlot, and just like the hijinks and stuff that they got into like as kids and stuff, and like when they went to the swimming pool and stuff, like as a kid, like we
Yep.
had. So it's sad to me that like some of the things, I mean, it's like I said, just being very nostalgic and stuff, but like we had grown up here in this area. There was a couple of places that you could go to go swimming in the summer, and it kind of sucks because like then those same places aren't around anymore, really. Man, I really remember one summer in particular. There was a country club that that had a swimming pool, and being a kid, I don't know if it was like something where if you had to have a membership to go to this particular swimming pool, or if it was just kind of open to the public and you paid a fee. I honestly I don't remember, but I remember that summer though, like we went quite often, and that was the summer that like I kind of got introduced to the Neo Geo arcade games. Like they were so freaking
Yep.
cool, man. Like the graphics on them, the sound, the way how like just the movement of like the actual game itself and stuff. Like, and then not only did it just look so much cooler and better than just basically all the other video games that were there, the arcade games that were there, but it also typically had like 3 or 4 games that you could choose from too. And so that's what I like. That summer, it was like the summer of like 87, 87, 88. Is when I remember like these Neo Geo arcade games kind of popping up and stuff, and like, man, like it was just like, to me that was like the coolest thing. I save up some quarters and stuff, and make sure that I had at least about 4 quarters, to get at least 4 games in, and yeah, man, that was the jam. That was the jam. I love the Sandlot. Like I said, it completely takes me back. That movie takes me back to childhood immediately. Like I just feel like and I talk to my friends still too that I grew up with. I mean, we all pretty much stay in touch and stuff still, and when we bump into each other, it's a small town that we're in, and I actually I just bumped into one of my friends today at the grocery store. Honestly, I hadn't seen Alex in probably a couple of years. I mean, we've emailed each other. He's a teacher at the middle school, does an amazing job. He also does a lot of stuff with some of the athletic program, and not necessarily just like the middle school, but also I believe he may be coaching varsity track, possibly this year. Um, I bumped into him, and it's one of those things where like you know it's like I like we just talked yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like the conversation just picks up immediately. I mean, and it's never a thing, and it's you know um how's your parents, how's the brother and sister, like just how's everything going, and just yeah, and telling them, then we're just like, it's all right, well, when we bump into each other again, we'll pick it up then. So it's
Yep.
he's they're those kind of friends basically, and yeah, it just it just The Sandlot is just an amazing movie, dude. I just totally love it.
No, for sure. And over, and it's kind of funny because it's like over by us, it's like we wasn't really like baseball that we would play too much pickup of. A lot of us were like roller hockey players, basically. Like hockey was that sport, like at least in our area and everything. And man, and when we weren't playing that, it was basketball because then like someone always like, and there was probably like 4 or 5 of us that had like hoops in our backyard, and I know that my backyard was one of those. So and then it was like a nice like area that was kind of like concreted off. So it was like we'd either be back there like either shooting hoops or we'd set up like a net that we had, and it was big enough where you could kind of skate, and it was like not quite like like what was it like half of a like half the way for like a
Mhm.
hockey rink, probably
Yeah.
like a good quarter of that, and it was still enough room to kind of like even get in like shooting practice and everything, and it was kind of cool because either like when we were playing, it was like me and my brother could both play goalie. Like he was definitely like much quicker at that. But no, so it's like kind of like I'd go ahead and like I'd be goalie for a little while and then like we'd switch pads and everything and then yeah, he'd be the one in goal. So that's kind of how our summers were spent. I remember a lot of that too. So it's it's crazy too because it's like the 80s, man. It's like growing up there during that time. That is the one thing that was really a big selling point for me on this kind of like I guess revival of the Sandlot, is that it's even set in the time of the 80s. Because I don't know what it is, man, but with the 80s, like stuff like Stranger Things, like that stuff just draws
Hmm.
me right in, because
Hmm.
it's like, oh, I remember having like, like a wall or a phone that was like attached to the wall. And it's like, you had to have the cord and everything. And it's
Right.
like, or, yeah, it's like, I think that was even a time where it's like, what, man, we didn't even really watch too much TV. Like,
Yeah.
it was really like the during the day kind of thing, and it's like we wouldn't have TVs in our rooms or anything, So it's kind of just like, all right, it's like go outside and play, and then it's like when you get home, it's like even then it's like you're not like I was never invested in any shows. They would have them on, but then yeah, it's like at night didn't even like think about it or even look at it really. So some crazy times, man. Definitely
Oh
know
man.
YouTube. Definitely know 24-hour programming. Uh, I still kind of remember in the '90s when infomercials like were king, like late night,
Yep.
and it's like you'd wake up at like 4 a.m. and like try to find something, like anything that's on TV, and it was just infomercial after infomercial, and
Right.
it's like, why is there nothing on at this time?
Oh, dude, nostalgia. Thinking just about like how you said. Okay, so that makes me kind of think of a couple things. It makes me think of like I don't remember what channel it was, but there was like a sign off. Like there like how you said there wasn't 24-hour programming.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I can
yep.
distinctly remember. I don't. Okay, so I don't remember exactly what channel it was, and I don't recall if it was like a one of the local ones, like the NBC, CBS, Fox, affiliates or whatever. But I remember like I think it was like at like 1 o'clock. Like it basically played like the national anthem, and there was a flag like
Mhm.
waving in the wind, and then it would just sign off. Like it would like I mean it wasn't like the white noise like static that you would see, but it would be like just like a I don't even know what you would call it, honestly. I'm sure there's probably some sort of term for it, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just programming ceased at that point. It's like go to bed. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like
good.
there's nothing on. We're out of stuff, so go ahead, go to bed.
Yep, and one of the good things for that too is actually if you've seen Poltergeist, which is like a movie
Yeah,
from the '80s, like that was a really great God, that like that scene because it's like yeah, the little girl was sitting there during that whole sign off thing, and it was the same thing
yeah,
like the flag waving. It's like the thing playing, and then it just like cuts, to like not the dead air, but like the static, you know.
Yep.
That's another thing that they're not going to know about either is like the static, you know, like kids these days where it's like you kind of turn it on and it's like, what is this, you know?
Like, what's that comforting, just like white noise sound? Like, what exactly is that? There's the So yeah, that did I told you about that alarm clock that I picked up over Christmas break? I don't, maybe I didn't. So so as soon as, like, right after Christmas, I was going to Walgreens, and they had all of their Christmas like gifts or whatever, like 50% off. It was like the day or two
Yep.
after Christmas. And so, like, I'm just, while I'm kind of just waiting for something, I'm kind of perusing, and like I seen this alarm clock. And dude, okay, so I've had the same alarm clock probably for like the last like 20 years. It's an automatic clock, so I don't even got to set it. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
controlled by like the radio signal or whatever, and so it automatically sets itself. So so I've had this alarm clock, and I'm just like, it might be time to possibly retire it. And so they were selling them for like half off, and so basically this alarm clock was like $3 basically. I was like, dude, you can't beat that. So I get home, and I check it out, and I didn't realize that it was like it projected stuff up onto the ceiling, and it would rotate out colors, which was really cool. And it had like different, like, it would do like stars, or it would do like lights or whatever. It was pretty neat. So anyways, this alarm clock, not only did it like do like a light show with like different whatever, it also had like, it would do like rain like noises, or like,
Yep.
like a jungle or something like that. But like, one of the sound features of it was literally just called white noise, and it sounded just, I mean, it wasn't a static. It was just kind of just like I don't
Yeah,
really
almost
know
like
how
that kind
to.
of like low, like, no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I haven't heard about this one yet though.
yeah. And but so the funny thing is that, like, I was like, oh, cool. This is really neat. Like, this is for a little bit there, I tried to use this alarm clock, but like I got frustrated because it wasn't like a AC charged like alarm clock. You had to use batteries in it. So it's not like you
Mhm.
can plug it into the wall or whatever. But the other thing that was really frustrating about it is that, like, when I set the alarm, just I've had the same freaking alarm clock for the last 20 years. Like, I
Yep.
mean, I could probably like change. I could do everything with my eyes closed, like controlling the buttons, setting the alarms, turning them off. Turning up the radio, whatever I needed to do. Like, it's just like, let me just reach over there, touch it, and then I could figure it out. But like this new alarm clock, man, like it's literally like a cube, and like, so each side kind of is the same, and it's not like plugged in and stuff, and it's kind of light. So like, if I went to go try to like find the snooze, I'm not sure which button it is. It, it there was no, it wasn't really like, it didn't really have a weight to it. So I'm kind of used to like flinging my arm over to like hit the snooze button or to turn off the alarm, but like I would knock it off the nightstand, and then I have to like get out of bed to go pick it up. And yeah, dude, it was just such a nuisance that I just like, it's like, nope, I'm kind of done with it. I could use these batteries for like a beard trimmer or something. I'm not gonna keep using these. And this alarm clock, it's a little bit stupid. So I got an
Oh
alarm clock
man.
if anybody wants one. It's
There you
you know just email us at beyondthecubepodcast@gmail.com if you want my sharper image alarm clock. I'm more than willing to give it up. So
go. No, man. I haven't set an alarm for so long, man. Like I feel that when Micah starts getting older and he starts kind of sleeping in, that I'm pretty sure that's going to be the time when I'm going to have to do this, you know. But as for now, I think we're okay. Like if like I'm not awake, like he's typically awake, and he's like, yeah, time to go, and it's like, no, it's still only 6:30, man. It's like we don't have to do anything for like the next hour. So
yeah, I don't miss them days. I mean, I do, but I don't. Yeah. It's really so. I feel like me and Leah are kind of have like and I don't want to call it an advantage, but like, so the age that we're at, our kids are, our youngest is will be 14. Yeah, geez, will be 14 this year. And and then like you, Vince, like Micah is going to be in kindergarten next year, kindergarten, first grade next
Man,
year.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
gonna be 5 in a couple months here.
dude. Yeah. So while you're going through, now you're going to be going through like the elementary school stuff, and like, how is Micah going to be around other kids, and and his teachers and stuff, and and we're dealing with like how you said in the other, the most recent podcast, like, it's the nonstop questions. How come I can't see my
Hmm.
hair? Why does my hair feel different than your hair? Like, all that stuff. Like,
Yep.
it is what you have, and like, see, like us, like, we've got one that's out of the house entirely. And in about like 4 years, everybody will be out of the house, for sure. So me and Leah are kind of looking at that phase, like, pretty soon, like, we're not going to have any kids in the house. Where,
Hmm.
you, on the other hand, Mike is going to be around for some time. So, you got plenty of time, So,
Yep.
so everything that I've kind of gone through over the past like 2 or 3 years, I will definitely bestow my experiences and stuff to you. I'm sure I'm kind of, not vented, but just sort of like, during our famous walks and stuff at school, I almost said at school, our famous walks at work, if something's kind of going on, or if I'm frustrated about something, I mean, I'm definitely like kind of, telling you what's happening, so, yeah, man, like, it's just, and then at the same time too, like, we have friends that are still having babies, like,
Yep.
I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I more power to you, more power to you. If that is your calling, and if that's what if that's what you're wanting to do, like, yes, I fully support it. And I think about it now, and I'm just like, man, I would not want to be doing diapers and stuff right now. Like, it's been so long that I've like been to like an animated movie at the theater. I do
Yep.
miss it sometimes, but like, at the same time, like, I haven't. The last movie that I went to see, I'm pretty sure, was probably like children themed and stuff, with kids and stuff. But because literally that was like the only time that we ever went to the theaters too, was literally to watch children's movies. And
Hmm.
um, yeah, I mean, uh, it's different, just the different phases that everybody's in, and things that they go through and stuff, and so yeah, so I totally forgot where I was going with all that. But
No, that's all good. No, so I mean,
like,
so you still get to now. I mean, you're at the point where now you get to kind of just be that cool uncle, instead
that's right.
of you know, like it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, it's like yeah, sure, we'll watch them for a few hours. It's like we know they're not ours, but
Right.
you know, but
Absolutely.
man, so I don't know, like and really, really the only things I've got been having going on is really kind of like picking up the writing. I know I've kind of been lacking a little with it, but that's again because of all the really like the podcast work and even kind of just other little things that kind of like pop up like here and there, especially work wise too. Like I know we had a couple of big projects, and dude, man, both teams really like the design and the content side, like just have been rocking it out. Like I know I felt like completely overwhelmed like this week, and like both sides were like, "Oh, it's like anything you need, let us know." And I'm like, "All right." I'm like, "Well," I was like, "Here you go." I was like, take this part of the project and take this part of the project, and yeah, they're just rocking it out, and yeah, just dude, even having Nathan, like he even like had offered to kind of like what was it train Nate a little. like on a few things, because I know I was helping Simon, like one of the other new guys. And then, Nate came up, and I'm like, all right. I was like, hold on. I was like, this is a pretty big thing that I got to go through. And Nathan's just like, oh, he's like, I'll take care of it. I'm like, all right, dude. I was like, dude, that is awesome. Thank you so, so much. And no, he rocked that out. Like, no, I'm so proud of everyone, like you guys are all doing so great. And like, definitely, I know I've thrown around that hashtag best team to quite a few people this week just for that reason. So still stand by it.
Yep.
Otherwise, the as for the writing, I'm kind of just trying to focus. Like I said, I have kind of like three. I have like three major things I was kind of working on, as well as had just a handful of ideas. And it's kind of funny because I did one of the more recent card readings that I had. Even again, it's like three cards that I had like never seen before, and like the whole like idea behind it was like basically kind of like getting your thoughts straight, and kind of like deciding on like what you want to be, and like suggesting that like even like writing it down or journaling or talking through it would help. And I'm like, oh, I was like, that's a pretty good idea. So I did start kind of like doing a couple journals just to kind of get my thoughts straight and see kind of just to prioritize what I got going on. So
Nice.
I kind of feel like I have a good plan just based off of that. And yeah, gonna just keep forging forward with it. So it's looking like the thing that I'm going to be working on is another novel, which this one's going to be like more of a like a horror novel, or like psychological thriller almost. So hopefully 2019 year, or hopefully a 2019 release. But I don't know. I'm guessing it's going to be in 2020 sometime, but we'll see. I'm just gonna keep going forward with it. And I know there's a few people who had read up to what I had, which was like probably like 8 or 9 chapters in, and I know they're gonna be very happy about hearing that that's my main project now. So yeah, we'll see how that's gonna go. I'm excited about it.
That's very cool, man. Very, very, very cool. Good stuff, dude. That's man. I envy just anybody that writes. So because I am terrible. Like I can't even. Emails are easy, I don't know. I think I kind of overthink things sometimes when I'm sending emails, even like at work and stuff. I'm like, that's why I think I'm just so to the point because like I don't know how do I format it. Do I call you Mister? Do I call you Mrs. or is it Ms. or like is it a comma afterwards or do I do a hyphen? Like I mean, so it's just usually my stuff is just very direct and straight to the point. Um, like and honestly, when it comes to like I really want to blog on beyondthecubepodcast.com. I really do, but like I will start writing and then I will delete everything off and then I'll start again and think I have it worded right and correctly and then I kind of try to go and then I sort of lose my focus and like dude, like just to have that focus to be able to do that is something that I envy, bro. So that's awesome. I'm looking forward to reading what you got.
No, thank you.
But
I might have to like I know one of the. It's kind of funny because I was actually talking with one of the other authors that I talked to on Twitter a little bit, and I know that they had brought up the whole like, oh, they found a new method of writing, which is kind of like an outlining method, where it's like you're basically outlining everything. And no, that's definitely a different topic or another topic for a different podcast there, because I can go into how outlining stuff does not work for me at all. Like it basically kills stories. So,
Mhm. Dang.
but no.
Well,
So no, I'm gonna. You know what? We'll start off this. Would you rather here? It's very sports themed, And it's kind of funny that like we were talking about the Sandlot earlier, because then didn't even think that this was going to. I was like, because we've been talking about sports recently, you know. And then the Sandlot thing comes up. I'm like, man, I'm like, this would actually work really well for here. So,
Nice.
um, this one here, I was kind of thinking about this, where would you rather be a star player who burns out early, or a solid player with a full career?
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. So, um, wow, this is a pretty good one. I feel like I would rather be a solid player with a full career than being a like somebody who kind of skyrockets, and it's almost like, oh, did that accidentally happen? Like how, like, yeah. I definitely thinking about it. I knowing the kind of person that I am, I feel like I definitely would want to be a solid contributor. You know, and have a full career than just completely like skyrocket and do something, and then after that, it sort of seems like you fizzle out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's I'm definitely going with that one. Um, Vince, what do you think on that?
Same thing for me, really. I mean, it's kind of funny how like when I was writing that, like I mean, I had so many names come to mind, and from every sport too, you know. And it's kind of funny because like when you kind of look at the Hall of Fame for a lot of these sports, you know,
Hmm.
like you really don't see too many of those like star players who have like one or two like great seasons, you know, and then like either like it gets in their head, or or just something happens where it's like it almost seems like it was kind of like a fluke, you know. But
Hmm.
then if you look, it's like you see people who, like a lot of people who are in these Hall of Fames, they were just constant, like, you know, performers. Like their numbers were always up there, you know. So,
Uh,
yeah.
hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. so,
No, it's all good.
so just so everybody knows, so so the way how we do the podcast and stuff, we're we like to sort of lay things out before we start. Vince, I'm sorry. So I'm looking at the third question here, and what the funny thing is that you know,
I
I,
totally dropped that in there too. That's why I wanted to.
no. So,
I wanted to be the
I,
one to straight drop that on too. So
did you do that? Did I see that? Like, did that really happen? Like, because I feel like that third question wasn't there.
no,
Okay,
it's
so
been there. It's been there.
yes, I really wish it could. Okay, so I don't read. Okay, so I'm gonna read my question to you, Vince. So okay, so minor league or Canadian league?
Oh man, kind of. I know I can't even, man. I was like, I'm totally sneaking this in there. I was like, it's gonna happen. I kind of figured. I was like, I know how Bob is. So I was like, we're just gonna sneak this right under the radar. And man, kind of sad that you caught it right before, but
I couldn't. That's why, like, at the end of year, I was just kind of sort of chuckling, and I wasn't sure if it was getting picked up or not, and I didn't mute myself, so I had just, I can't, like, I see it, I have to say something about it. So, anyway, so yeah,
no.
that's
So
that's good.
I have an answer for it too. Okay, so don't worry.
Okay.
But as for minor Canadian league, oh man, I, I almost feel like I'd rather kind of be in the Canadian league. You know, like I mean, and I mean, really, that's for kind of any sport. You know, like I was like, when I didn't really specify because, dude, there's like,
Right.
man, there's even like the alternate right now to the NFL. You know, which what was it like the AAF or something like that? I
Yeah, something
think,
like that.
or
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I'd almost, man, I kind of rather be a Canadian hero, you know, than just kind of stuck in the minor leagues for a while. So,
Hmm.
and when I was thinking about it too, I was like, really, I was like, was it baseball and hockey are really the only ones that have like minor leagues. Like I don't think basketball has that, and I don't think, and football really doesn't have it either.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, how about yourself?
Yeah. So I really like how these questions, like how you said, you're not really pigeonholing this question to, are we talking baseball? Are we talking, hockey? The NBA does have the D League now, I believe. Which is like, the development league. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's just I feel like they don't. I don't feel like you hear much. Like it's not like you get to publicize a lot. Um, but I know that there's a development league for the NBA, and it's kind of like the minor league system. But I don't think it's one of those things where like each city has a franchise that relates directly to another organization. You know what I'm saying? I think it's
Mm,
just like an overall like another league that you can sort of like I don't know. I guess I don't really know how that works because I, part of me thinks that like, gosh, I wish yeah, maybe we need to Google this. I'm not too sure, but part of me thinks that like, as like, for instance, like the Bulls, right? So,
mm.
like, if they have a player, like, you don't ever hear them saying that, oh, we're going to option this player to the D League, and let him, But at the same time, I feel like you do hear that a little bit. Like, I don't really know.
Hmm.
I might have to Google that here within maybe during this segment. But yeah, and it's just and when I also think minor league too, I also think of just like some of the towns that these minor league teams are in, and
Mm.
for that reason, I'm with you, homie. I feel like the Canadian League just seems to be it just it sounds funner. It sounds like
Yeah.
I feel like if we're talking Canadian rules versus minor league rules, like I feel like the Canadian rules may be a little bit more lenient. It's like the whole like now are we talking like street fighting or sanctioned rounds? You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like
Oh
that's
yeah.
how this kind of is here, and so for that reason, I'll go ahead and also choose Canadian League.
All right. So, Bob, softball this year, yes or no?
Oh man, yes. So,
Yeah.
I I told Nathan last year that my goal was to get into softball shape this year, because our company that we work for actually fielded two softball teams last year, and I was approached to play, and I hadn't played softball in some years, and my wife actually went out for her softball team, or her company softball team, like the year before or something, and
Hmm.
I distinctly remember going to practice a couple times with her, and I'm bringing my glove and stuff because, like, it seemed like it was one of those things where, like, hey, if you got a glove, come out and play, whatever, no big deal. And so I was really thinking, like, hey, man, I'm gonna bring my glove and I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna flash the letter, and they're gonna want to pick me up and stuff, and I'll come in and contribute, and we're gonna go to the championship. Not once did I ever get asked to do anything. so, and so, and that's the thing too. Was like, well, I mean, we talked about Sandlot playing, baseball on the street and stuff, and like, and just like playing like little league and Babe Ruth and stuff, and um, I, I, I feel like I'm not a bad athlete in my head. My body likes to tell me otherwise. I I hurt myself so much this past softball season. I hurt myself in a way that I never, I didn't really let anybody know when I did this one time. And at the end of the game, um, you know, I don't think Leah came to any of the games, honestly. But um, I got into the car and I called Leah, and she was like, "Oh my God, are you having a heart attack? Like, are you dying?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm okay. I just can't." catch my breath. I had swung and my on my follow through, like I stretched and literally like my whole left side of my body like was just like pulled pretty much. And the second that I remember coming all the way through on my follow through on my swing, like I had to try to hustle to I had to try to hustle to to first base or something. And and so I I tried with all my might to hit this ball, and I hit it like a grounder to like third base or something. So I'm like, okay, cool, it's a ground out. She's, they're gonna throw it to first and get me out. Well, guess what? Like this person didn't field the ball cleanly, and like I want to say under through first base. So like even though I'm kind of like walking to first, like I'm safe,
Oh,
you know. And
yeah.
so I'm on first base, and I'm trying to hold it together. I don't want anybody to know that I'm hurt, basically. And because I want to say, I feel like we were short staffed that night too. I think that we literally only had like 9 people, so like everybody had to play. And so the next person comes up to bat, and it was basically like the same situation, like So I'm on first, and I want to say that it was the last inning too. Like I'm almost positive of this. Like I had hurt myself earlier in the game, honestly, and like yeah, that's exactly what happened. So my first at bat, I think I had a really good solid rip hit out to the outfield, and it was that thing where like it was like a 300-foot single, like I hit the snot on the ball, but like there's no way I'm running, like just it's not gonna happen. And so if it's not a home run, then I'm only gonna make it to first. I'm probably not gonna really try super hard to run and get the second, but so I hurt myself in my first at bat, and by the third at bat, I hit a ground into third base, like I said, and I didn't want to run it out, but I ended up being safe. I'm on first, and so the next person that comes up to bat like gets a base hit, so I'm having to run this time, and like I make it to second. And I'm just like, man, why won't nobody tag me out? Like, how is this happening right now? And yeah, so when I get in the car and call my wife, she's like, oh my god, like, are you? Does Nathan need to bring you home? Like, just leave the car there. I mean, what do we need to do? I'm like, oh, I'm okay. Just get the heating pad ready. Oh my god! Oh my god, dude, I was seriously in pain. And like poor John, I think like that might have been the game that I think John ruptured his Achilles too, because like
Oh, jeez.
that happened also too. So so Katie, if you're listening and if you're asking me, I hope what I just said doesn't deter you to come up and ask me to play, because I want to, I really do. However, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I still got some time to kind of to get back in shape, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Well, I thought you were going to say to decide, but
yeah, I probably I would not oppose to playing. Definitely going into it though, and knowing when it's when we're going to start fielding these co-ed teams. I definitely it's like training, like off season starts like right now. Basically, it's gonna have to for me, which would be great because that kind of coincides with our Biggest Loser thing at work too.
That's right. Yeah.
So I guess that kind of gives me the motivation to maybe actually contribute more to the team this year. So I mean, yeah, I definitely would not be opposed to playing for sure. It's a great time. It's fun. Just man, I hope I don't get hurt, and I probably will. But that's one reason, like I said, to maybe try to start doing a little bit better, which would also benefit me in this contest that I'm. This week, you guys. I don't even think we've updated anybody on the Biggest Loser stuff too either as well. We had our most recent weigh-in. I was out when we weighed in at the beginning of this previous week. But the week before, I had gained 2.5 pounds, and was feeling kind of bad about it. And so I once again, it's the whole thing of like, yeah, I don't want to gain again this week, but at the same time, I didn't really do anything to perturb, like not, like I still kind of ate the same. I didn't really exercise very much, which I hear that you're doing the stretching and stuff, which is awesome. I need to really start doing that stuff, but yeah, man, like I said, I definitely am not opposed to playing this year. So my answer for this question, which took me about 20 minutes to get to, and I apologize to everybody, would be yes, I would be interested in playing softball this year. Vince, how about you?
Nope, too much of a commitment. I have too many of those right now.
Very
No,
true.
I mean, if I could, man, it's like it's like because what you guys like practice, like was it practice once a week and a game once a week?
Well,
Like,
we I want to say that there was two games a week. Like it was like
jeez,
on a Tuesday and a Friday, I think. I feel like.
so I had recently, well, not recently, like back when I was in the suburbs, like I know, actually that wasn't even recent. That was probably within the last like 7 years ago or so. But yeah, I had even kind of done like the whole bowling thing, and it was kind of fun and novel for the first couple weeks. And then after that, it's like, how many weeks do we do this? It's like 30 something. I'm like, are you like insane? It's like, I cannot like be part of a league for that long. So it's like, I kind of did tough it out, like,
Mhm.
and we had a backup who really did want to play, So, I mean, it was one of those things where I'd communicate and be like, it's like, do you want to play this week or do you want me to? And they're like, oh,
Right.
it's like, I'll play. I'm like, all right. I was like, you're in. I was like, if anyone else calls in sick or anything, let me know because I'll show up. But I was like, otherwise, it's like, you got this. So they were
Yep.
basically the main, and then I kind of turned into the alternate, even though the names were kind of swapped on the roster there. So,
There
uh,
you go.
yeah, it was, I don't know, something like, I don't know. I think it would be fun. Like, I think this would be more fun because this is actually with like, yeah, with friends, because it's like, yeah, with like you, with like, man, like other people on the web team, other people on the programs team, Like, I think that would be really cool. But again, it's like, it's just, I'm just worried that, the fun would kind of wear out, being like, okay, it's like, this is enough after like 3 or 4 weeks, Be like, why did
Yeah.
I decide to do this again? But I don't know. That's the thing is, like, I know that's what sucks. Is it's like I'd be an awesome teammate because I would show up, but I'd show up because I feel obligated to show up because I signed up to do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't really be fun for me. It's kind of just like, well, I'm here. It's like, what do you want me to do? So, so that's why I'm saying no. But by the time it rolls around, I mean, I don't know. My mind can change. So,
There
um,
you go.
I know, but no, I mean, really, man, that's a pretty good spot to even like cut this out. I know I still had some more questions, but man, we have been going on and on. So covering a lot of the '80s stuff, covering a lot of the sports stuff. Man, lots of stories today too.
A lot of nostalgia stuff too. That was yeah, for sure.
I,
I do want to say do one more. This just kind of take a look here. So
no, for sure.
I'll go ahead. I'll ask you. Would you rather win the World Series or win the Super Bowl?
Oh man, for that one, I kind of feel like the World Series would be more my
Yep.
jam. But
Yep.
I don't know. I think I like well, first of all, like baseball is a much safer sport than football, I feel. So, I mean, and I don't know, and I don't know, just the idea of like honestly like being in like, the MLB, I kind of I don't know, that's one of those things where it's like it always seems like it's going to be like so much more fun. Like with the like, the politics of it aside, like cuz I know like what was it like think like NFL, how they want to like extend the season, or like have like more preseason games, or how they do keep kind of changing rules. It's like the MLB totally like isn't totally like protected from that either, because of a lot of like even the pitching like changes, that they have this year going on, or the pitching rules that they're like
Right.
trying to
Yep.
implement,
Yep.
like stuff like that. I mean, they both have their things, which it's like, are kind of controversial. But no, I feel like there'd be more like camaraderie and kind of I guess better development, really, being like on a baseball team. So that's kind of why it kind of put me in that. And plus the World Series, like that's like a best of 7, not like a best of 1,
Oh man, that's right.
So
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I feel like you have more control over your fate with the World Series, where you can actually play like, multiple games, rather than it's
Yep.
like, all right, it's like you have to perform your best for this one game, and any kind of like chance kind of flukes, like can
Yep.
mess it up for you. So
Yep.
how about yourself?
I was just gonna say, I could really probably expand upon this for a really long time, and I'll try my best to try to condense as much as I can. Yeah, so hands down for me, this one was easy. And they would be World Series as well too. It just to kind of, like I said, to try to keep it as short as I can. You know, um, to me, there is nothing better in sports than having a Game 7. And you can kind of think of that as like, okay, well, if you're talking about a Game 7 where the winner takes all, like, it doesn't essentially, football have the same thing where, it's not necessarily a series that you're playing. And due to the tax of just the violent nature of football, obviously there's no way you could do like a series of, just your body needs to heal and stuff. And baseball is not necessarily as physically demanding or as violent as football is. So I could see, both sides. However, for me personally, it's the whole story of the baseball season, and just the way
Mm,
how it writes itself out, towards the end, where you like the really good teams, that have strived throughout the whole entire season. They hopefully hit their strides at the very end of the season as well too. And just the storylines that come from baseball to me is just so amazing and so great. To me, there's none better than the 2016 baseball season for the Chicago Cubs. That I cannot wait for the movie for that particular, that team in that season. And
mm-hmm.
it would be unreal. And I'm sure that I don't own like the documentary of like when they actually, because I'm sure that like they had cameras following them everywhere and stuff. And the World Series just championship deal and stuff. Like I'm sure that there's some behind the scenes stuff about the season, but I just that whole entire playoff series too. Like so, 2016, we beat the Dodgers in the NLCS. I also want to say that we played the Cardinals, I believe, too, in the division and beat them as well too. I believe in 16. No, it was the Giants. I think it was the Giants. I believe. Gosh, I can't
Mm-hmm.
remember. I have to look. I'm gonna have to look that up too, and report back. But anyways, for the World Series though, obviously we played Cleveland, and that series in itself, to me, was unreal. And as a Cubs fan, like which Chipper and Briz would 100%, I believe, agree with this. Like for us to have to go so long to even sniff this area of where they were at as a team and stuff and as an organization was just like, I mean, like I had family members, that all they wanted was just the Cubs to win the World Series. That's the only thing that they wanted. And I had uncle, family members and that like that never had a chance to see this. And it's crazy to think about. And it's
Mm-hmm.
funny because me and you joke all the time that Micah has seen like what, like 2 Triple Crown winners, the Cubs win the
Yep.
World Series, and something else, and we're like, man, like he's living the life, he's got it, like he's
Yep.
sports spoiled really right now. But for me personally, like there was number one, the biggest sports moment that I've ever been a part of or witnessed was Game 5 of the World Series in Chicago. I was there for Game 3. I was there for Game 5. I was not physically in the stands watching the game. I was actually outside Wrigley selling merchandise, and not like I'm a licensed vendor to sell in Cook County in Chicago and in certain areas and stuff. And yeah, so we were up there selling shirts at the World Series. We actually, me and a bunch of group of guys went up there, and we actually got our picture taken. Actually, a lot, really. We were right outside of the bleacher entrance of Wrigley Field, which is where the Harry Carey statue's at. And oh man, there's Game 3, we lost Game 3. And the feeling that I got at Game 3 was just like every other feeling whenever there was a Cubs loss. Like, it was just so bizarre because, like, it was electric. Game 3 was like, yeah. I mean, that could be a whole podcast as well too. Like I said, I'll try to lengthen this out. But yeah, Game 3 was just like every other Cubs loss. Game 5, it was literally like a celebration in the street when we won Game 5. We obviously went to Cleveland and won Game 7. So the true celebration, which I couldn't even, like, after Game 5, it was nuts. I can't even imagine how it was after Game 7 in Wrigleyville, because God, like, it was literally like, if you've been to Wrigley Field, which I'm hoping a lot of you that are listening have. Wrigley Field is literally in like this residential neighborhood in Chicago. It's awesome. It is such a great area. After Game 5, I was actually watching Game 5 at a flat, like two flats down from Murphy's, and when we won, like, everybody was out in the street. It was literally elbow to elbow. Like, I feel like I could have probably, like, not touched. My feet probably could have not hit the pavement, and because there were so many people there, like, I just still would have been picked up and just moved. Honestly, like, it was crazy. It was just absolute craziness. And like I said, that was the only. I feel like the only thing that would ever top that is the Cubs actually winning the World Series in Chicago. Honestly, Game 5 was just, like I said, it was. I don't really have the words, and I'm sure nobody really wants to hear an hour me talk about it for an hour. Like I said, we'll save that for another podcast. But yeah, World Series it is. That was a decent one.
No,
All
for
right,
sure.
well, Vince, what updates do we need to let our listeners know?
Oh man, the biggest thing really is still going to be the Patreon. We've already put that together, and right now we're kind of just getting the designs together for what we're coming through with. The expected date for shipping is going to be in the beginning of April for the t-shirts for that. And yeah, it's going to be, man, it's really going to be themed after something that's like near and dear to like both of our hearts for Game of Thrones there. And I know that we are even looking to have a episode where we're going to have someone like another guest on, and we're going to be talking Game of Thrones. And there's so many different topics that you can kind of cover. I know there's like at least one thing for sure I need to cover, being from House Lannister. I know that, most, I'm sure that there's a couple other topics that are going to need to be covered. But if you guys have any questions, or if you have any topics that you want us to discuss when it comes to Game of Thrones, let us know. Send an email over to beyondthecubepodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit us up Beyond the Cube on Facebook, Beyond the Cube 1 at Twitter. Or even just on the website, just drop a note and let us know, because we are definitely open to topics for that show, because like I said, there is so much to cover, and I'm sure we're only going to hit on kind of what we feel is going to be like the highlights. So if there's anything that you want highlighted, you definitely let us know, and we will get to that. aside from that, the next episode we are expecting to have Bree on again. She is working on her homework assignment of watching Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and I know for sure I've watched it at least once now. Since then too. Bob, have you come back to it yet?
I started it the other night and I stopped it because it was the whole thing where like, 10 minutes in I was ready for bed. But in my defense, I did start at like 10 o'clock at night, so yeah, that's something that'll definitely have to be done and revisited. So actually tomorrow, I'll definitely watch it for sure tomorrow.
There you go. Cool. Otherwise, yeah, go ahead and follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. I know the last photo that I posted on Instagram was actually from the party last night, and man, that burger looked so good that my inner foodie was like, I gotta take a picture of that and just kind of encase it on the Beyond the Cube Instagram. So, yeah, so there's that. And I mean, I'm kind of surprised we don't talk about food more often because I mean,
seriously,
both of us are foodies too,
Absolutely,
so,
that is really weird. Why have we not done that? That's true.
So
Very
I don't
true.
know. I'm sure we'll, we have a lot of people who we could definitely bring on to just talk food also, So
Absolutely, yep, absolutely.
Yeah, but otherwise, like I said, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you can find Beyond the Cube podcast on iTunes, on Google Play, on Spotify, or on just our website, beyondthecubepodcast.com. Otherwise, no, Bob, any final thoughts here?
Man, you wrapped it up perfectly, bro. Yep. Once again, appreciate everybody. Listening as always. Thank you for for sticking this episode out. Wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to get through it. Like I said, was just woke up and stuff, and I'm about ready to go back out and go to bed. So,
Yep.
yeah. Once again, just appreciate everybody listening, and yeah, that's all I got. Vince, you got anything else?
Nope, we're good. Thank you guys. Thank you for everything.
Right on, right on. All right. Well, you already know the business, Craig. Go ahead and get out of here so that way we can listen to Josiah do that song. It's my favorite. My favorite, y'all. Ooh. All right. I'm good. See you guys. See you.
All right.
Get out of here.
Okay, ready. What a time to be alive.